Hi, my name is Edric Mendoza from the Philippines, and I've been asked to answer 2 questions. I'll start with question number 1. What do I love about homeschooling? As a father, and as a guy who's been observing and studying homeschooling, what I love about it is what it can do for the children. And I'll have my wife talk more about that because she's the one actually doing the homeschooling, that covers all the benefits that you see. And many other people will talk about this as we talk about homeschooling. But personally, what I really love about homeschooling is what it causes us to be as parents, what it causes me to be as a father. I've learned that in homeschooling, you need to be engaged, you need to be intentional, you cannot be incidental. And it forces me as a dad to become a better parent, a better father. If our children were in a conventional school, they'd be out and we'd see them when they're done. But because we homeschool and our lifestyle is with each other a lot, then they see everything we do. Even when I go to work, I have the privilege of bringing my kids from time to time and they see what I do. So if I do not do things the way that I ask them to, then there's an inconsistency and they see that, and that causes a world of problems. So because we homeschool and we have all of that contact, knowing that they watch everything I do, I'm forced to now ensure that if I do something wrong, I ask for forgiveness and I correct it. But where I do something right, then I reinforce it to the children. I'll ask my wife to share. Honey, what do you love most about homeschooling?
Well, I think personally for me, it's really the time I get to have with the kids because, Edric and I really want to be able to influence their hearts and help them to grow in character. And without that time, if we sent them off to a school system or to an educational institution, we would be robbed of that precious time that we have with them. And just to get to know them and to see their bents and their interests and even their weaknesses, their strengths. And so we really have this time together to get to know each other. And this allows us as parents, me especially because I'm in the trenches in the day-to-day of the homeschooling, to really influence their hearts and to teach them what it means to really have godly character and what it means to really love God. And then all of them, God has given them interests and abilities that they are able to explore and really get into because they have time to do that. And so personally for me, I feel like it's an academic advantage to homeschool, or they have an academic advantage, because first of all, they have the time.
Okay, I'm going to answer question number 2 now. What is my involvement in the homeschooling movement in the Philippines, and what is the status so far? The Philippines has been growing in terms of homeschooling in recent years. I'd like to think primarily because of 2 initiatives. Number 1, the national organization called the Homeschooling Association of the Philippine Islands, which has helped really collaborate with our local Department of Education and has been able to mount conferences, national conferences every year. But together with them, there are a number of private organizations. Happy is the national organization which I've had the privilege of being able to start in this country. And the private organizations in the Philippines are a number. One of them is called TMA Homeschool Inc. The number of homeschoolers in the Philippines is still somewhat rough, but the data we have is about maybe 10,000 homeschoolers. Still very small considering that the Philippines has about 110 million total population. We're expecting this growth to continue on as we go through the years and have bigger global events like the GHEC. Which is why we're very excited to see what is going to happen in this particular GHEC in Brazil. With the noise that we're able to create in that global scenario or in that global platform, we trickle that down to the Philippines and help policymakers, educators, researchers, and parents, such as my wife and I, to get to see what homeschooling really is about, what the benefits are, and how it can literally be a life-changing experience. So we look forward to seeing you at the GHEC 2016 in Rio de Janeiro. That's my wife over there again, and she and I will be at the event. We look forward to seeing you. Kids, everybody, say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
See you.